Hello everyone, welcome to Fulltechstack. This is Akash. So guys, this is going to be a complete series of Angular interview questions, and for the ease of my viewers, I'm going to cover 5 important questions per video, so as to keep the video short and not to overburden you with a lot to intake. Now, guys, here is a disclaimer. Please note that the intent of this video is only to help you crack interview questions and give you a quick revision. Please do not think of it as an Angular tutorial. For that, you can find Angular tutorial in a different playlist on our channel. Before beginning, here is a quick tip for you. While answering a question in an interview, try not to give a one-line answer. Rather, elaborate your answer or at least present your answer in 2 to 3 lines. Let's begin with our first question. What is Angular and why do we need it? Angular is a UI binding framework that binds view and model. So guys, previously we had to write a lot of code to create a bridge between view and model so that these two can interact with each other. But now Angular takes care of the binding between model and the view. It helps us to build a SPA, that is a single page application, using the concept of routing, dependency injection, input output, HTTP and many more features. We can also say that Angular helps us in implementing MVVM pattern, that is model view view model pattern. These simple 3 to 4 points would be sufficient to answer what is Angular in an interview. Difference between AngularJS and Angular. Now, this question may sound very simple, but this is one of the most asked questions in the interviews. So let's look at the answer. So, whenever we hear AngularJS, we are talking about the old Angular, and when we hear only Angular without the word JS, we are talking about the new Angular. So, what is this old Angular and new Angular? Guys, for a clear understanding, I have prepared this table for you. Language. AngularJS or Angular 1 has support to JavaScript, whereas Angular 2 Plus versions have support to TypeScript language. In case of AngularJS, we had model, view and controller, in which firstly the view used to get loaded and then controller was loaded. But it is more component based in case of Angular. Here, on load of component, the component loads the template and its CSS. Hence, component becomes the key point in Angular. In AngularJS, to make it mobile compliant, it was very difficult. Whereas in case of Angular, mobile compliance is very easy. Due to absence of Angular CLI in AngularJS, we had to build things from the scratch, but since now we have Angular CLI, we can create our project template with a few simple commands. Server side. Angular can run on server side, whereas AngularJS could not. Another quick tip for you people, do not unnecessarily elaborate your answer. Try and keep the answer to the point. What are directives in Angular? Directives are the Angular syntaxes that we write inside HTML which gives behavior to our DOM elements. Here you can see ngModel. It is a Angular provided syntax which is going to add a behavior to this DOM by binding the value of this text box with the current item name property. Based on this kind of manipulation, we say that there are 3 types of Angular directives: structural directive, attribute directive and component directives. And from here arises our next question, that is, explain different types of directives. Structural directive. Structural directives are the directives that manipulates the DOM layout by adding or removing DOM elements. Here, I have created this snippet for you guys. In this, we have a ng for loop, and on its execution, depending on the number of items inside the student array, we can have any number of div tags created using this for loop. So we can say that structural directives, that is ng for loop here, is directly manipulating our DOM layout by adding x number of div tags or DOM elements depending on the number of times it is iterating. Next one we have is attribute directive. which differs from structural directive because it does not add or remove element, or in simple words, it does not affect the structure of the DOM. Let's visualize it. You see, here we have a div tag which is having hidden attribute having value as true. So this div tag is not going to be visible in our view, but still it will be present in our HTML with visibility status as false. So we can say that we are not impacting the structure of our DOM. Rather, we are only manipulating its look and feel or the appearance. This is what attribute directives do. Components. Components are the most basic UI building block of an Angular application. Or we can say that component is a customized user control that we can use to build our Angular application. We can simply define our own component by using @componentDecorator like I have shown here in the snippet. And for creating components via Angular CLI, we have a simple command ng-generate component and then component name, and the CLI will provide us with the component. We can also say that component is a self-contained directive that have its own UI and own code. Next, difference between directives and components. This is another frequently asked questions in the interviews, so let's get directly to the point. That is, the directives add behavior to the existing DOM elements, whereas a component, instead of adding or modifying the behavior of an existing element, creates its own view with an attached behavior. Also, we can have many directives per DOM elements, but there can only be single component present per DOM element. We don't have views attached to the directives, whereas components always comes with a view. We can also mention the decorators while differentiating between directive and components. Add directive decorator for a directive and add component decorator for a component. That is all for this video. I hope you guys liked it, and if you found this video useful, kindly share it with your friends. And feel free to reach out to us with any new or related questions that you want us to answer for you in our coming videos. In the comment section below, please mention your comments. Thank you.